Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are continuing on with my 0 to 60 series. This is going to show every single Chrysler 300 model 0 to 60 and quarter mile times starting from 2005, even including European versions. I've tried to get footage of each vehicle going 0 to 60, and I'll display the time that the car is capable of stock for each, alongside some photos of the car, and a few comparisons of each to add more to the video. Numbers are as official as I could get, mostly from Chrysler, Car and Driver, or Motor Trend. Also, if you're wondering, the top speed shown is what the car is electronically limited to from the factory to match the tire capability that the car came with. Also, each video might not be a perfect run or have the best conditions, and the in-car 0 to 60 timer isn't always super accurate, especially with wheel spin, so be mindful of that as well. And finally, some videos might be in kilometers an hour instead of miles per hour, depending on what I could find. So let's get started. The slowest 300 model is going to be the 2.7-liter V6 powered versions from 2005 to 2010. These were paired with a 4-speed automatic and had 190 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque from 2005 to 2007, and the horsepower dropped to just 178 from 2008 to 2010. The 300 with this engine is good for a 0 to 60 time of around 10.5 seconds. Here's a look at the comparison chart I'll post for each, with a random selection of cars from the same era with similar 0 to 60 times. So this 2.7 liter is comparable to the Pontiac Montana SV6, Honda Civic Hybrid, and Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Unlimited, to name a few. Next up is the 3.5 liter V6 powered 300s, also from 2005 to 2010. These got matched with a 4 or 5-speed automatic and had 250 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. These were also available with all-wheel drive models, which all would have the 5-speed autos. The 3.5 liter 300 is quicker than the 2.7 liter, but still not particularly impressive, with a 0 to 60 around 7.6 to 7.7 seconds. There's also some debate on how the all-wheel drive system impacts the performance. An all-wheel drive 300 will typically weigh 230 to 268 pounds more than the rear-wheel drive, but it will launch better with less wheel spin, which is very important for 0 to 60. So usually the all-wheel drive might get a small jump off the line, but then it would lose by a couple of lengths over a longer distance. If I had to guess, I might put the all-wheel drive 3.5 liter 1 or 2/10 of a second quicker 0 to 60, but also a bit slower on the quarter mile, but it will still be very close to these times. The 3.5 liters were in the realm of cars like a Lincoln MKX, Mazda 3S Grand Touring, Subaru Impreza, and Toyota Camry XLE V6, among others. Next is a model that many might be unfamiliar with. 2006 to 2011 models received a 3-liter Mercedes-Benz diesel V6 engine in Europe and Australia on the 300C models. And I say 2011 because the second gen didn't get introduced to the UK until 2012. This was rated at 215 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque, paired with a 5-speed automatic. It's also worth noting there was an SRT design model beginning in 2008, which combined the CRD engine with all the other specs of the SRT8, like seats, wheels, exterior features, and more, mostly sold in European markets. The listed performance from Chrysler on the SRT design diesel models says a 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds and the quarter mile in 15.3 seconds, so that will make it slightly quicker than the 3.5 liter V6s. It's similar to a VW Golf, Lexus IS250 all-wheel drive, Kia Forte SX, Honda Accord LX, Ford Mustang V6 convertible, and BMW 328i convertible. The newer V6 is a 3.6-liter Pentastar from 2011 to 2023. 2011s have the same 5-speed auto, but the upgraded 8-speed was used starting in 2012, so just 1 year got the 5-speed auto. Models like the Touring and Limited would get 292 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, but that goes up to 300 horsepower and 264 pound-feet of torque for S models. And these also get a sport mode, which helps to increase engine and throttle response, decrease shift times, and firms up the steering feel. All-wheel drive is again an option for these V6s. Posted times for the V6s were within the range of 0 to 60 in 6.3 to 6.6 seconds, and the quarter mile in 14.8 to 15 seconds with the 8-speed auto. There was 2011 with the 5-speed autos, like I said, but Chrysler seemed way too conservative with the 7.2 seconds to 60. I think that's just a bit too slow for this engine. But either way, going as quick as 6.3 seconds will enter the territory of the Toyota GR86, Mazda MX-5 Miata, Honda Civic Si Coupe, Cadillac XT5, and its platform twin, the Dodge Charger SXT. Another model that most people won't know about is the 2011 to 2014 Lancia Thema. Chrysler sold an executive/luxury series in the US in 2012, and this is a more luxurious version that ended up getting rebranded in Europe as the Lancia Thema, sold in many Euro markets other than the UK and Ireland, which would keep the 300C name. The car looks like a 300 with Lancia badges, and the interior was completely redone to better match the expectations of a European luxury car. If you want more details, I cover this in my special and limited edition 300 International Models video. The Thema also got the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 and an 8-speed automatic, but it had 10 less horsepower and 9 less pound-feet of torque. So these were slower on paper than the North American cars. Lancia stated that it had a 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds, but most tests show that it was able to do it in 6.8 seconds, with a 15.3 second quarter mile. The top speed limiter was seemingly removed on these Euro cars for a higher top speed. The Thema also used two different 3-liter V6 multi-jet 2 turbo diesel engines, built by Via Motori and developed with Fiat. The first had 188 horsepower and 324 pound-feet of torque, and the more powerful one got 236 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. Both of these were paired with a 5-speed automatic. The posted times show that the less powerful diesel could do 0 to 60 in 9.2 seconds, with the quarter mile in 16.6 seconds. The upgraded version did 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds, and the quarter mile in 15.3 seconds. So now we're done with all the 6 cylinders, and we can move into the 8 cylinders. Just like all the LX vehicles, there are many Hemi V8 engine options. The 5.7-liter Hemis had an early version, what I refer to as the pre-Eagle Hemi, from 2005 to 2008. These engines were exclusively found in the 300Cs, with 340 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque and the 5-speed auto. They were also offered with all-wheel drive, but weren't very common. Most of the automotive websites like Motor Trend tested an early Hemi model, and these 300Cs could go 0 to 60 in 5.6 to 5.8 seconds, and the quarter mile in 14.2 to 14.3 seconds. That's on par with some other fun cars like the Chevy Trailblazer SS, Dodge Caliber SRT4, Porsche Boxster, Nissan 350Z, and Infiniti M45 Sport. The Eagle Hemi, named due to the upgraded cylinder heads, got a boost to 360 horsepower for 2009 and 2010. For the second generation, beginning in 2011 and going right through to 2023, ratings went up to 363 horsepower and 394 pound-feet of torque. The 5-speed auto came with 2009 to 2014 V8s, but all the Hemis got the 8-speed automatic after that for 2015 to 2023. The 2009 to 2014 Hemis were pretty much the same performance-wise, as they only had 20 more horsepower with the same 5-speed. However, the 2015 and up models with the 8-speed auto saw their performance times decrease by close to half a second, to a 5.3 second 0 to 60 and 13.8 second quarter mile. This is in the world of the Camaro 2-liter turbo, Lexus LS500, Genesis G90 3.3 turbo, Nissan 370Z, and others. Like the Charger, Challenger, and Magnum, the 300 SRT8 also had the 6.1-liter Hemi V8 under the hood from 2005 to 2010. These were only available with the 5-speed auto we've been over, and made 425 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. With a quicker 0 to 60 time down to 4.8 seconds, here we can compare the 6.1-liter SRT8 to a Corvette convertible, Z4M Coupe, Chrysler Crossfire SRT6, Lexus IS350, Mercedes C55 AMG, and Shelby GT500 convertible from this era. Now we move on to the 6.4-liter Hemi. This was introduced in 2012 for the 300 and was around until 2014 with 470 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque with the 5-speed automatic. Models included the SRT Core and the more premium SRT8. These second-gen SRT8s were good for 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and the quarter mile around 13 seconds. One interesting fact I found was from Motor Trend, where they said during their review, quote, "Inexplicably, the 300 SRT8 is 2/10 slower in a straight line than the identically equipped Charger SRT8, end quote. Still, these are very quick, especially for 2012, putting them near the likes of the Camaro SS, Chevrolet SS, Mustang GT, Mercedes S600, and others. Now, as I talked about many times on the channel, the 6.4-liter powered SRT 300 was discontinued from the North American market for the 2015 model year. However, it was still sold in Australia and the Middle East from 2015 to 2021 in both left and right-hand drive. There was even a pursuit vehicle used in Australian police departments, specifically in New South Wales. These versions abroad still had the same horsepower specs as the 2012 to 2014s, with 470, so they didn't get the increase like the Chargers and Challengers did. They did get the 8-speed transmission though. To send off the 300, Chrysler did bring the 6.4-liter back for the 2023 300C, limited to just 2,000 units for the US and 200 for Canada, and this version did get 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. Chrysler never really quoted a true performance time for the 6.4 liter with the 8-speed auto. Even at the latest 2023 Detroit Auto Show, the information card for the 300C just said 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. It didn't seem to be a big talking point in reviews abroad either for the past couple of years. Typically with the other LX vehicles, the 8-speed auto alone will see a gain of 2 to 3 tenths of a second for 0 to 60 times, so we will go conservative and stick with that. That puts the 300C at a 0 to 60 in around 4.2 seconds and mid to high 12-second quarter mile. There are lots of nice cars capable of that time, like a Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, Lexus IS 500F Sport, AMG E53 convertible, and Rolls-Royce Black Ghost, just to name a couple. Finally, this video wouldn't be complete without bringing up the 300C Touring Wagon. It was offered in the UK and Australia from 2006 to 2011, and shared the chassis, suspension, engine, transmission, and even most of the body with the sedan. The wagons were roughly $2,275 more for the exact same trim level when compared to the sedans. They were much heavier, with a base model wagon weighing 578 pounds more than the sedan. I couldn't find any wagon 0 to 60 videos, but you can see by the chart that all the same powertrains were offered, and all these posted times from British automotive journalists show that these wagons are at least half a second to a second slower than the North American sedans. So there you have it, all the acceleration and top speeds of each engine from the Chrysler 300 from 2005 until the present day in 2023. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Were there any surprises for you here? Any new engines? Anything you found interesting or odd with the numbers or comparisons? Let me know down in the comment section below. And let me know if you want to see other videos on different models. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe for all your Mopar content, and I'll see you in the next video.